Right, so now that we've created the register user function, what we want to do is create the login user function. So we've done the register step. So what I'm going to do is create another function, and this is going to be called export const of login user. This again is going to be an async function. So if we look at the login form, so we're on the login page, it takes in an email and the password. So that's what we need to take in. So again, we could do email and password in here as both strings, and then we also want to just close this off, and this is going to be an arrow function, and we just need to make sure everything is working correctly. So console log email and password, and now let's save. Now we just need to hook this up to the login page. So we've done the register page, that's fine. We need to go into login over here and go into the login form in our modules. Now we need to do a handle submit function. So this is quite simple, handle submit e.prevent default, and actually what I want to do is rename this function to login user with email and password, because there could be multiple different ways to log in a user. So in here now, let me just quickly pass in the relevant inputs that I have and paste them in, and we also need the pieces of state for this, and we also need the navigate as well. So let me just pass that in as well. So we have the three arguments that we need, which is email, password, and navigate. And let's pass them in over here. So now we need to import login user with email and password, and that comes from the email auth, which is over here. And we also need to accept navigate as well as basically the navigation. So navigate is of type navigate function, which we have imported at the top as well. So let's accept this now. So what we need, this again is an async function, so we need a try, catch, and finally. And error wise, I'm just going to keep it as that, but we will handle that later on because we need specific errors for Firebase Auth themselves. So that is now finally navigating to route enum.home. So let's quickly import everything in, and then let's test to see if it actually is working. So we also need to hook up the on submit, which takes in the event and then it handles the submit. So now there's only one thing missing, which is this try block here. So let's put this code in here, and now let's save all and test to see if login user with email and password function is working in our app. So all I want to do is quickly inspect, because we are console logging, and let's quickly type in our email and password. It's just going to be a random password. And now if I click sign in, you can see it says imrancodes@gmail.com, and then that's my password as well. And then we also navigated to the home page, which is fine. We don't really need to worry about that too much because that gets executed over here. But essentially now what we need to do is we need to log in the user. So this is where the user credential is needed once again. So as you saw over here, we called in a Firebase function, create user with email and password, and it's pretty much the same thing once again. So instead of create a new user, this time it's going to be login a user. So let's just quickly add this comment in here. And instead of this, it's going to be sign in with credential. So or sign in with email and password. And you can see here there's a few imports coming through. This is the one we need, which is from Firebase/auth. So let's click that. And if we hover over it, it shows you what it requires as arguments, which is auth, email, and password, which we are providing. So auth is coming from our Firebase auth, email is coming from here, and password is coming from here. Now, what we need to do with the user credential is, again, get access to the results is equal to user credential.user. So if I hover over results, it should be of type user, which it is over here. So now we need to do something with the results, and we can do a quick check. So if there are no results, .email verified equal to false, or we can do that check, which is the Boolean value. Then we need to say, please verify your email to log in, and then return. If that is passing and it is email verified of true, then we need to log in the user. So what we need to do, essentially navigate to home or my account, but we need to create my account. So let's quickly paste that in, and we don't need the finally in here actually. So let me just quickly save everything and test to see if we can log in. So if we go into the login page over here, put in my email. First of all, it needs to be in here. So this is the email that we are logging in with. So in here, I'm putting my password. So that was my test, I believe. So let's click sign in. And now if we go down, you can see it should be logged in now. Essentially, it's navigated us. So basically, that means that the email verified is true. Now, what we need to do is check that and see if that is actually the case. So, easiest way to do that is essentially console log the results. But so if results.email verified was true, then this alert would have happened. But because it wasn't, it navigated us to the home page here. So that is all working correctly. What I also want to do is if I try and log in again with a wrong password. So I'm just going to type in something random and essentially press sign in. And now we get this error here, which essentially is Firebase error of auth slash invalid credential. So that means that there was an error that happened, which is here, which is 400 bad request. So essentially, this was the password I inputted. It did not match the password in Firebase Auth. So this is where we would need to handle our errors and put something in as an alert or something in here to say, actually, this is an error, you need to put in the right password and so on. So what we want to do next is handle the passwords if we forget. So we will do the forgot password section next.